Okay, everyone. Welcome to our ANEQ 204 lab this week. Historically, we'd be driving trucks and trailers, and we were going to do that week before spring break, and then we got snow. So we're left with this and resorting to some video. I debated just posting something online, but I wanted to give you a little bit more and a taste of what we typically do. And so I'm sitting here next to a gooseneck trailer. This is probably the one we'll talk about most, and then we can talk about some differences with a bumper pull. But again, I want to make sure that you guys have some basics laid out, okay? So first things first, I want to go over a little bit of safety. We're going to talk a little bit more about gross vehicle weight, gross trailer weight, and that combined, how that affects perhaps having a CDL. And then we'll talk about hooking up the trailer, and hopefully that'll lead us into maybe a little bit of driving and backing that trailer up. And so first things first, some things I think you should always carry with you if you're going to be hauling horses, even if your trailer's empty. Good rule of thumb to have with you at any point if you've got a trailer on the back of the truck. And so one of the first things I want you guys to be familiar with and to take with you is something that a lot of us call a Jiffy Jack. And so this is a picture of this right here, an example of this right here. And this works great for all of your tandem trailers. And so this horse trailer that we're going to look at here, I'll show you in a minute, the back end of it is a tandem trailer. Pretty well everything you're going to haul is going to be that. And so your bottle jacks that are already sitting in the truck, don't use them. They're not stable enough. They're not going to work well. You don't ever want to try to pick one of these horse trailers up with that bottle jack that's sitting behind your truck seat. And again, you're liable if it falls off. And it's just not a good scenario. And so these Jiffy Jacks are great for that. We'll go back and we'll show you how this goes up under the tire here in just a moment. Another thing that you can carry with that is obviously tire iron, making sure that this has 4 different sizes on it, and make sure you have one that fits the correct lugs on your trailer tires as well. And so those 2 tools right there will allow you to come and be able to change that tire should you have a flat. The nice thing about that tandem trailer as well is if one blows, one has a hole in it, you still have another tire that's on that same side. And so we'll look at putting that under the back of the trailer here in just a minute. Other things I usually carry with me if we're to park the trailer and unhook, one of which would be a chalk, and so we can have 2 of these, put one in front of the tire, one behind, or if you easily know which way the trailer might be more susceptible to roll, you can easily just put it under one side. And so this is another thing that you can take with you for when you do unhook that trailer. Other things, if you do have a CDL, you're required to carry, though I think many of them are good practice anyways, and one of which would be a fire extinguisher. Fire extinguisher is always good to have on board. You never know when you're going to have some type of truck difficulties. Maybe you have a tire that locks up and a brake that starts smoking, catches fire. Good to have a fire extinguisher with you. Other things that you would need to have if you do have a CDL, it's required by law to carry with you, is either a set of flares or triangles. So if you do have some type of incident where you need to pull over on the side of the road, that you can put those triangles or flares out, okay? Other things would be a set of fuses. Fuses would be something you should always carry with you. If you have a fuse that blows and it's the left turn signal, you can then replace that fuse as well, okay? So those are some essentials that we're going to make sure we carry with us in terms of safety. Let's go back to the back of the trailer. We'll look at where that Jiffy Jack might go and then talk a little bit about that lug wrench, okay? So I just want to show you briefly how that Jiffy Jack would work, and we've got our lug wrench sitting right here as well. And so this is that Jiffy Jack that I was talking about. Say you blow the rear tire right here. All we're going to do is go over and take this Jiffy Jack, slide it up under that front tire, make sure it's in line with that actual tire itself, and all we have to do is pull forward, drive onto this Jiffy Jack. This tire will then sit in this kind of low point right here, this valley, and then this tire is now raised up off the ground. We can go ahead and take our lug wrench over to it, slip it onto our lugs over there, and then we can brake all those, okay? We may need to brake them before we actually pick that up. Usually you might not be able to get enough force on there, your tire wants to spin, but that Jiffy Jack works great, okay? Then when you're done, you can back right off of that, okay? Notice it's got a ramp on both sides, so if all of a sudden we were to blow this front tire here, or something was to happen, we can take the same Jiffy Jack and we can put the entire thing back behind the tire, just like so, okay? And so, great thing to keep on board with you. you can use those Jiffy Jacks with your trailer still loaded. Usually the safest thing, you don't want to be pulling horses out on the side of the interstate, tying them to the trailer, and so they'll support the weight that's in that trailer as well. Make sure they are a sturdy one. But again, great thing to have on board. You don't have to have a whole lot of downtime. Horses on board, we got a flat, we can easily throw that trailer in Jiffy Jack, change that tire, and then get back on the road. So we'll go back to the front now and look at a few other things, okay? Just wanted to show you guys real quick, when we start talking about gross vehicle weight, you've got a weight rating that's listed on both the trailer and the truck. And that weight rating for the trailer is listed right here. And so I'm not sure if you guys can read that, but it says gross vehicle weight rating 10,400 pounds. Right below that it tells you about the axles. These are 5,200 pound axles. And so we know, again, we've got a max weight rating of 10,400 pounds. It includes the weight of the trailer and all of its contents. If it's not here on the tongue like you see in this trailer, a lot of times it's up under on one of these beams, okay? Let's go over and have a look real quick at where that is on the truck itself, and then you can add those two together and see the combined gross weight rating, okay? And so if we look at this on the driver door, you're always going to see a sticker here, okay? And so we can look on this. It says right here, gross vehicle weight rating is 9,200 pounds, okay? And so all we would do is take our gross vehicle weighting of the truck. That is, again, the weight of the truck plus passengers plus any cargo plus our tongue weight. And we would add that to the trailer. And so we've got a little over 10,000 pounds there, okay? And so no problem, we're still well under the requirements for a CDL. To have a CDL, or to be required to have a CDL, we have to have over 26,000 pounds in a gross combined weight, okay? And we are well under our 26,000 pounds. And so if you're 26,001 pounds or more, you must have a CDL, okay? So we're well under that, and you always want to make sure you're within those requirements. Okay guys, so we've backed into our trailer. We've got to actually get it down onto the truck now and attached. And so right now you can see the coupler sitting over top of the ball. And so we're going to take this and just lower this down onto our ball real quick. You'll see that go down. And then once that's actually on the ball, we'll go ahead and attach the coupler. And so, making sure that you guys can now see that, we'll set this right here for now and tilt our camera up a little bit. And so now you can see our coupler sitting down on the actual ball. And so when it comes to attaching it, one thing about goosenecks, you've got to crawl up into the bed generally to be able to do that. But always make sure your coupler is attached. And so right here, you've got this all of a sudden latches back. Some of them you can take a cotter pin or a key and basically put it in there, be sure it doesn't come undone. But even if this swings, it's not going to come out of there. And so right now, this coupler is lashed onto the ball. One thing about gooseneck hitches, most of these are rated for close to 30,000 pounds, but all of the balls on a gooseneck hitch are all the same size, so we don't have to worry about that. That's one difference that we'll talk about with bumper pull trailers. But again, with this, they're all a 2 5/16 inch ball, and so no worries about the wrong size ball there. And so coupler is latched on. We've got to attach our chains and our emergency brake cable. And so chain sitting here. One thing on a gooseneck, chains do not need to be crossed, and so this can simply be taken straight on here. We'll take our chains on the other side and then hook them directly onto chain hook on that side. Emergency brake cable, everybody does this a little bit differently. This one, we've just got a clip here. We could clip this to, say, this little piece right here. Anywhere you want. It would be ideal not to hook that to the same part of your chain, so that if one chain comes undone, you don't lose your entire emergency brake cable as well. The point of that is if all of a sudden this trailer does decide to become disconnected for some reason or another, hopefully that never happens, what does happen is this emergency brake cable pulls, we'll pull it out, and so all of a sudden now this clip comes out. Once that comes out, two prongs connect, it all of a sudden applies the brakes on the trailer, and then your hope is your trailer comes to a stop. It may not be pretty in how it comes to a stop, but it will come to a stop. So that's your emergency brakes that are hooked up to that as well, okay? And so everything is hooked up properly now on this trailer. We've got our chains connected, our couplers locked, we've got our emergency brake cable. We do want our trailer to be sitting level, and so you'll see this trailer from the outside here in a moment. If this trailer is not riding level, maybe you've lifted a truck, or the truck is a Ford that's a four-wheel drive, maybe it's really high, and the trailer then sits at an angle, you can loosen these two nuts right here. They've got stop nuts on them, and this will allow you movement to adjust this coupler. And so you can see within this range right here, we could shorten this coupler, we could also extend the reach of it and range of it to level that trailer out. And so that's hooking up the trailer right here. On this trailer, we talked about if we needed to change a flat, we've already got a spare, and so everything is good to go. One thing, again, if you are not the one that hooks up this trailer and this coupler, maybe somebody else does on the farm ahead of time, I would always recommend that if you're the person hauling, go out and double check that. Don't take it for granted that somebody else hooked it up properly. It's your responsibility if you're hauling that trailer and those horses to be sure that's done correctly. And so always, it takes you 2 seconds. Look back to the trailer, make sure that coupler is actually locked, your chains are on, you're good to go. Not a bad idea also to walk around the back of the trailer in the sides, make sure all the doors are closed and latched. All too often we see somebody take off and a trailer door is open. Hopefully it's not the back door, but I see dressing room doors open and stuff all the time. So walk around, make sure your doors are latched before you do decide to take off. So from here, everything's hooked up correctly. We'll make a few other comments maybe in comparison to a bumper pull, and then maybe we'll go for a drive, okay? One other quick thing that I'll show you guys too is we always want to hook up our electrical cable. And so, not all, but most of your truck beds, as we install gooseneck hitches into them, we will also put a 6 or 7-way plug in the bed like we have on this one right here, okay? And so here we've got a 7-way plug. Traditionally things used to be a 6-way. Pretty well every truck that you purchase these days is all going to have a 7-way plug on it, and so we've adapted them all over to that. And so it's a pretty easy connection. We're going to go ahead and just insert this into that trailer plug, make sure that it sits in there all the way, and then you can go around and you can check your left and right turn signal, tail lights, etc. This 7-way plug is going to carry electric brakes with it as well. Again, any trailer over 3,000 pounds is required by law to have electric brakes, and so any horse trailer that you have is going to have that as a requirement. And so carried in this is all of your trailer lights as well as those electric brakes. I realize we're off in the shade, but it's okay. We're going to talk about one last topic after we just discussed hooking up this gooseneck trailer, and just make a quick comparison to hauling a bumper pull trailer. Really no difference in hooking it up. You're going to back that hitch in, connect it on the same way, a little bit easier sometimes. But one thing to point out with bumper pull trailers that I do want to make sure that you're aware of is the fact that there are 3 different ball sizes that you can have behind any pickup or car for that matter. And so things go all the way down to 1 7/8, and then they go to 2-inch ball and then a 2 5/16. This 2 5/16 is the same size ball that is on that gooseneck that we just hooked up, okay? Majority of your horse trailers, because of the size of horse trailers and the weight, are usually a 2 5/16 inch ball, okay? The occasional smaller trailer or boat, something like that, usually might be a 2-inch ball, okay? You can have balls where you have completely different receivers. This one has the ability to rotate through in your hitch. Lots of different ways to do it. The key is always make sure you are connecting to the right size ball. At CSU, our welding trailer is a 2-inch ball, okay? Our horse trailer, the bumper pull, is a 2 5/16, okay? What we would not want to do would take our horse trailer, and we still have the 2-inch on from our welding trailer, go connect the horse trailer to that. It will go down on top of that ball, but if all of a sudden you got too much weight on the back of the trailer, it will come off of that, and that is a dangerous scenario, and we've seen it happen before. And so make sure, please, that you have the correct size ball on that. The only other difference would be attaching the chains on that bumper pull trailer. We told you you could do them straight on this gooseneck trailer. With that bumper pull, we're going to cross those chains underneath the hitch, and that is because if it ever did come off that ball, it's going to rest in that cradle of chains right there, okay? And so that's the only other difference in hooking up that bumper pull as compared to the gooseneck that we just did. Okay, y'all, so we've got our trailer hooked up. Now we're going to go ahead and go for a little drive, and so we're just going to go forward with our truck and trailer a bit. You guys can watch us. We've got an aerial view, so you can watch our truck and trailer as we move forward, and then we'll back up in a few motions as well. Okay, and so right now we're just going to pull forward. We don't have a huge area to be able to drive, but I want you guys to see how this trailer backs up and how we would maneuver. Okay, the biggest thing with driving a truck and trailer for people that are backing up that gets confusing is the fact that right now, when we go to back up, this trailer goes in the opposite direction of the steering wheel when you hold on top. And so if all of a sudden we take the steering wheel to the left, the trailer is going to kick to the right, okay? If we take the steering wheel on the top end to the right, trailer is going to kick to the left, okay? And so something people will do sometimes is they'll hold on the bottom of the steering wheel, and with that, if you do go to the left, trailer is going to go to the left. You go to the right, trailer is going to go to the right. But it's up to you. It's really just about getting comfortable and it becoming a kind of a subconscious effort a little bit, okay? And so we'll put this truck in reverse right now. You can see our aerial view. We're just going to work on keeping this thing straight back for now. And so right now we're looking at going straight back, and then we'll talk about turning, okay? And so I'm watching this trailer behind me and watching my fender in that clearance light, and again, just trying to go straight back, okay? And so that's one way that we can do things, okay? Let's go forward again. Okay. So we've got our trailer all the way forward. Now let's talk about if we wanted to turn this trailer, okay? And so now all of a sudden, let's say we want to turn this trailer, and we're going to all of a sudden back up this hill in another direction, okay? And so we can take this and say we're going to turn around, and we can turn this trailer all the way back on itself, okay? And so in doing this, we can take this trailer and go all the way back on itself, and then go forward right here. Okay, and so that allows us to then straighten out that truck and trailer in whichever way we want to go. Again, the trickiest thing is if we want to back up, so we'll put it back in reverse. If we take this steering wheel to the left, like you see now, watch what happens to the trailer. Okay, trailer kicks what? To the right. Okay, so if all of a sudden we go forward again, we try the steering wheel in the other direction. Let's watch what happens. We're going to straighten out here. Okay. Now all of a sudden, let's take the trailer steering wheel of the truck to the right, and you're going to watch that trailer is going to kick left. Okay. And so that's one way that we can easily manage that. And so we'll go ahead and pull forward again. Okay. And so it's really just becoming comfortable with that. If we want to back up, with the longer trailer, it takes longer to respond. It's a lot easier to back this long trailer. So if we wanted to go straight, we can take this and just subtle movements. It's easier to move the steering wheel as the trailer actually backs up, okay? Versus making these movements and all of a sudden you say, oh, it's not going the way I want, and you make a big adjustment and then you move again, and then all of a sudden you let the trailer go and you make a big adjustment. It's easier to do it while it's in motion, okay? And so let's take, and then we'll move around this entire area here. We'll drive forward a bit. So we're easily just watching where we're going, turning radius. One thing about a gooseneck is, again, it does follow behind, but it is going to cut that corner a little bit more than, say, that bumper pull is. Bumper pull is much like that Kaiser Arena drag, where, again, it's going to easily follow right behind you. If you're at a stop sign and you're turning right with a gooseneck trailer, and you don't swing wide, you'll take out that stop sign and everything else in the way, okay? And so we'll take this now, and we can easily go and let's just put this back in our frame. And so we can easily say, let's all of a sudden back straight up, okay? And so we're gonna back straight up. We're gonna watch our truck and trailer, and we can easily do that, keeping our hand on the wheel, making subtle adjustments each way, okay? Let's say we're gonna back up into the grass up beside us, okay? And so let's go ahead and pull forward, and then we'll make another adjustment, okay? So let's say now we're going to back up in that grass all the way to the fence line, okay? And so if we want to do that, we're going to take our steering wheel to the right, knowing that that trailer is going to kick left, okay? Once it starts to kick left, I can slowly bring that steering wheel back, and I can straighten it out at the same time, okay? And so you can see at the same time how it responds. We can take this all the way back to our fence line now. Say we're going to park this trailer, okay? And there, we've done that. And so again, it's one thing that does take practice. Really, unless you have a trailer on, you can watch a video as many times as you want, and no doubt it's simply just not the same. But I do want you guys to get an idea for it and just kind of see what happens, okay? And so again, biggest thing, knowing that that trailer responds in the opposite way. I'm a firm believer of holding the top of the steering wheel. It's just what I'm used to, as compared to holding on the bottom of the steering wheel, but it's totally on how you get comfortable with that. Again, the nice thing about a gooseneck trailer is we can turn that trailer at a 90-degree to the actual truck. We can take this and again come all the way back around on ourselves. We got a little bit of a newer pile back here, but we can still come all the way back around on ourselves, okay? And so that's one nice thing about that gooseneck that allows us that capability. I can hook this trailer up at a 90 compared to that bumper pull trailer where you've got to worry about it jackknifing, okay? And so we're going to go back over here and we're going to park it back where we found it, and you guys can watch that process, okay? Take us a minute to get this thing turned back around. But we will get there. Sometimes it just takes you a little bit to set yourself up. We're just going to straighten this rig out a little bit. It's a little bit of a tight area to maneuver in. And then, again, we're going to back it up right next to the pickup truck where we had it, okay? Use your side view mirrors. Again, we're not using our view behind us. Not helpful. And so we're just gonna back it up straight to the fence. Okay. So again, hope you guys learned a little bit something about backing up a trailer. Best we can do in this scenario in these times. Have fun with it, get out, drive a truck and trailer, practice. In the future semesters, I'm always happy to help you out. and learning with that. So until next time, y'all, thank you.